Hello everyone and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So, in the last episode, we went back a little bit and we decided that we were going to go ahead and take the lotless route. See if things would turn out better by fighting for the common people and all that jazz. It didn't. It immediately turned out to be bad. It started off okay, but now we found out that Sophia's a rat. She works for the secret chancellery, apparently. So now we have to see where this is gonna take us. So let's see how things go. We'll pick up right after things pretty much went awry at the end of the last episode. So attack on the Lotless. The secret society of the Lotless was struck down by the secret chancellery. Many of the conspirators were captured. Recruitment. Days are followed by nights. Nights are followed by new days. You can only tell because of the light coming in through the tiny window near the ceiling. You've spent several months in this cramped cell. It is 5 steps long, 2 steps wide. These walls felt oppressive during your first weeks, but people can get used to anything eventually. They feed you twice a day. They do not answer any questions. They take away the food if you scream too loudly. You think of your family often. How would they react if they heard you were facing execution for being part of an underground movement? Mother would die from grief. Execution always brings true death. Father's hair would turn white. Gloria would cry. Stefan would rage. And Nathan would become even more isolated. Sophia. How could she do such a thing? She said the Lotless were her family. She insisted so much on freeing the innocent mages. She urged you to support Patriarch Junius and the new faith. Sophia said all that, and then she stood there and watched her fellow Lotless get killed and arrested, their lives lost, years of work undone and destroyed. Driven mad with rage, you punch the stone wall. Blood splatters from your knuckles. It grows dark again. The lock on the door squeaks and the cell opens. They carry you out by the arms, but you no longer resist. You're sick of this. It's no use anymore. They seat you in the interrogation room. There's a man sitting across you. Plain but well-tailored jacket, pale face with chiseled features, thick black mustache, black eyes watching your every move from their deep sockets. When did the secret chancellery first start watching? When did you all become pawns in their game? The nobleman keeps studying you with utter disdain. Even grandfather never looked at you with such scorn. He wears a pendant in the shape of a wheel. His gloved hands rest atop a table with a walking stick leaning against it. Behind him stands Sophia, her head down. I am Baron Philippe El Ferro, advisor to the secret chancellery, but I have a dislike for titles. Call me Sir Philippe. That will suffice. I know everything about you, young Brante. Your father and grandfather are loyal servants of the Empire. Your brother is a noble by birth. Where did your life take such a turn? How did you stoop so low? The advisor to the secret chancellery shakes his head, presenting you with a clearly false smile of sympathy. You feel like a student in front of a strict teacher, but you will not leave this room with a mere flogging. You young people don't even realize what you're doing. Openly defying the church and its teachings, openly speaking out against the law. And when Junius Diamant gives you the order, you wreak havoc in the capital. Assault priests and free apostate witches sentenced to execution. Isn't that right, Sophia? Yes, Sir Philippe. It all happened exactly as you said. Oh, you bitch. You shiver with disbelief. There was no order from Junius Diamant. That is not true. It never happened. You looked at Sophia, but she will not look at you. Her eyes are only on Baron El Ferro, and he looks at you with a fatherly smile and a ruthless gaze. You're trapped. Now his words will be the truth, and nobody will ever believe anything you say. If only I could be like you, young Brante. A mere boy who thinks he can change the Empire all on his own. But I suppose it's a good thing I'm not that naive. Otherwise, I'd be in your shoes right now, and you'd be dealing with someone far worse than me. There are many things in this world that do not sit well with me either, but unlike unlike your youthful rebellion, my goals are quite clear. My wish is to save the Empire, to save it from the likes of you, people who reject tradition and the laws given to us by the gods, fools who seek to set the mages free, practitioners of the new faith that is destroying the church from within, even if their leader is a patriarch and an Archnean from an ancient dynasty. Few know my methods, and that is why they are effective. Thanks to Sophia and this secret society of hers, we've already managed to gather all the dangerous insurgents together, and summarily deal with them in one fell swoop. The heretic Junius Diamant is next in line, but that is none of your concern. Let us speak of your fate now. Philippe produces a folder full of notes and puts it on the table in front of you. The folder bears your name. Your hands shake as you flip through the pages. How you infiltrated the college during the siege. How you helped recruit more people for the Lotless. The articles you wrote for that newspaper. The advice you gave Sophia. Your preparations for the March of the Collars. Your life over the past 3 years is laid down on these pages. Just the records of your presence at the Lotless meetings is enough to sentence you to execution. But that is the least of what you have done over these years. Your stomach churns. Do not expect your father's authority as a judge to save you from this, Brante. He's just a second-generation judge. A brief note from me and you will face true death. And then your father, and the rest of your peculiar little family as well. What say you? Is there any reason I shouldn't do just that? Sir Philippe, He strikes Sophia swiftly and painfully. She doubles over and clutches at her stomach, gasping for breath. Slowly, Philippe returns the walking stick to its previous position. His gaze never leaves you. I don't remember giving you permission to speak, but very well, I grant it now. Speak. Sophia finally catches her breath and leans against the wall. She looks at you for the first time since the interrogation began. Sir Philippe, Brante grew up in Anisette, like me. He is very bright and has proven himself to be quite capable since his very first days with the Lotless. You will find many descriptions. You will find my description of him in my report. He will serve your cause in Magra well. Oh, you can kiss my ass. You do not look at Sophia. Her betrayal is the reason you ended up here. And now she is putting herself at risk to save your life. Philippe stares you down, his chin resting on his fist. Proved himself, you say? Then how about he proves himself to me as well? There are only two ways out of this room, Brante. One leads to the gallows, the other makes you my loyal servant. Thank your childhood friend for this mercy. I will give you one chance, and only one, to prove that you are useful to the secret chancellery. I'm listening. Oh, great. I can't outwit Philippe because I don't have enough manipulation. Wonderful. I can't prove myself to be useful because I don't have enough scheming. Always lovely. Let's see. I could betray the rest of the Lotless. That will give me -2. And we will have collapse of the Lotless. Wonderful. Or I could reject. Oh, you have to be kidding me. Wow. Wow. Really? Really? These are the choices. Game. You know, I do, once again, I really do have to state, I like this game. I really do like the world building. I like the lore of it, the artwork. You know, everything about this game is really, really good, except for when it comes to the decisions on this game. sometimes it really is it really is pointless, because this puts me in a situation where it's just like, why even bother? Why even bother to put me on a route and then allow me to go to another route if it ends up in a situation like this? And I understand you want to give people choices, but when you give people choices like this, what's the point of it? Like, honestly, you might as well just lock the thing out. So, I mean, because you just end up in a death spiral like this. So, I mean, this is come on now. Come on. Now, in this particular case, I can kind of understand it because my scheming and my manipulation is low, and I would have needed to go all the way back. But then that also begs to ask the question, why give people the option to turn around and go back to certain chapters? You know, maybe give people the option to just change certain decisions or whatever, something. But this is kind of pointless now. So apparently the lotless route was probably not the best route, but alas, here we are. If I turn around and betray the lotless and give the rest of them up, we'll have the collapse of the lotless, and Sophia's opinion of me will go down by 2. Or I can reject the secret chancellery and die. So there's that. Wonderful. Well then, I am going to be back. I am going to turn around and go back a little bit, have to turn around and get some of these stats up a little bit, but I'll be right back. And once I am back, I will be right back at this decision, and I will outwit Philippe. So give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I am back to the point that I was before, so now I should have some more options now. I don't have as much diplomacy as I had before, but I do have the 13 manipulation and 13 scheming, so hopefully I'll be able to get out of this, but let us see if that will be the case. Let us see. Alright, let's skip past all of this lovely stuff, and huzzah, we are here. So, I can outwit Philippe, I can prove that I will be useful, or I can betray the remaining lotless, or reject the secret chancellery and get executed. So, I did say I was going to do the lotless route. I am going to do the lotless route, and I am going to continue on this. So, oh, that would get +2 with Philippe if that happened. Huh, interesting. Anywho, outwit. You pull yourself together and start thinking. You have to earn your freedom, and for that you must prove that you can be useful to the city hall. But you cannot betray the lotless who are still free. And so you start talking. You describe everything you've learned over the past 3 years, including your work with the lotless, your recruitment and propaganda efforts, and the public activities you have hosted. Philippe listens carefully to every word you say. You use your cunning to convince him that the lotless pose no threat and have no leadership with Sophia and you out of the picture. And if you are to be believed, the lotless were already on the verge of disbanding. Sophia is silent and emotionless as you speak. Nothing in her reacts to your lies. Well then, you're quite self-assured, Brante. So you're trying to tell me your entire secret society was held together entirely through your efforts, and granted you talk far better than those half-literate street rats. One way or another, the lotless have outlived their usefulness. I have no use for the rest of those pathetic ragamuffins. Color me impressed, but if you disappoint me, so much the worse for you. Now mark my words, from this moment on, you are my secret servant. This is your only lot in life now, as it were. You will obey me and no one else, and do not even think of mentioning the secret chancellery to anyone. You and Sophia will return to Anazet. Tell everyone you earned a small fortune in the capital, or made wealthy friends. You're a slippery young man. Just think of something believable, will you? Once you're there, open a print shop. Don't waste too much time on it. This job will be your cover to keep you looking busy in public. My people will pay you visits from time to time and bring you instructions from me. I have big plans for your dessert province? Okay. My every instruction must be carried out immediately. If you ever fail or try to fool me, your family will suffer along with you. Here, this should be enough for the print shop. Now you have something to bring back home. With a chuckle, Philippe drops a hefty pouch at your feet. It falls like a rock and makes a sound that only gold can make. Before you can say anything, he turns around and leaves. Once you are left alone with Sophia, she finally lets her emotions rise to the surface. Don't you dare call me a traitor. Do you think it was easy for me to watch my friends being killed? Apparently it was. Nobody would have left the room alive if it wasn't for me. Oh, okay. Yes, I bound everyone I could with my spell, because otherwise you would have died trying to fight back. Oh, really? I hoped I could get everyone out of there alive, but I only got you out. Uh-huh. It's a good thing you said what you said. Now Philippe will pay no attention to the lotless. The survivors will continue our work eventually, without us. And as for you and me, Philippe has us on his leash now. We'll have to survive like this. We can't run from him. If I don't do what I'm told, he'll have me collared and sent back to the House of Humility to be an obedient, soulless puppet. At this point, I really don't care, Sophia. But we have each other now. No, we don't. We can do this. No, I can do this. You can't. Don't lose hope. Fuck you. A jailer enters the room before you can say anything else. You are led out of the prison and into the yard. You wince at the light of the sun and the shining pillar. A carriage takes you back to the flop house where you took refuge after the march of the collars. The driver kindly informs you he has orders to take you back to Anazet in 3 days. You start packing. It all feels like a dream. Everything will happen exactly as Philippe said. You have nowhere to run. If you try to flee, they will find you, and they will find your family first. In the blessed Archnean Empire, there's no way to start over with a clean slate. The twins in the secret chancellery see all. Your months in prison are in the past, but can you truly call yourself free now? You will be going home soon. Wonderful, wonderful. Sealed lips. Okay. The Lotless at Large event has happened. Manipulation is equal to or greater than 13. You outwitted Philippe, and you have the path of the Lotless. You rescue the Lotless, and the secret society continues its activities in the capital. You now serve the secret chancellery. Your life and fate are in the hands of advisor Philippe El Ferro. Wonderful. Good stuff. Loving it already. I really should have picked the priest. Alright, it's the winter of 1137. Diamant stands trial. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the streets. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Astinia, and one of the leaders of the New Faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of this secret society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the New Faith and the end of days. For Junius Diamant himself, the Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundations of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius' reply to the tribunal. It's no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person, but I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agreed to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the new faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photis is no longer seen as a heresy by the Inquisition. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant is all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the church as well as the Inquisition is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia, co-leader of the new faith, remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the old faith and the new faith clash next? Interesting. Lovely. A farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Taurina rivers meet outside the city walls. You've barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. Where did your youthful ambition lead you in the end? Eterna never became your home. To you, it was a place of turmoil and disappointment. You tried to change the course of history, but history broke you in half and threw you away. You were too young and inexperienced. Your entire life was wrecked by a single decision. What future could you possibly have now? All of your hopes are buried here in Eterna, and you must leave this city behind. Your hands clench into a fist as you think about it. You will have to live two lives, a public life as the owner of a print shop, and a secret life as a spy for the secret chancellery. It's the only path fate has in store for you now. Mother used to say that humility and hard work are the strength of the common folk. Each new blow brings less pain and teaches you to get back up more quickly. All you have to do is walk this path without showing weakness. But you strayed from the path of humility and graduated from the school of hard knocks. You learned to lie and manipulate others, to survive and hide and act in secret. As a teacher, Sophia had no equal. But what are you supposed to do now? Will you accept your role in the schemes of the secret chancellery, since it means well for the Empire? Or will you have what it takes to find another way and use your new position for schemes of your own? Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall Gloria particularly fondly, the way she used to rebel all the time and defy her lot to write poems. She always fought hard to be herself, no matter what other people or the law said. Gloria was the only one who supported your decision to find your own path. You want to see her so badly, and tell her all the news and share the joy of your return with her. You have to get her a gift from the capital, something that will matter to your sister while there's still time. You decide to buy her a book she could never find in Anazet. You start combing through the market. You go to 5 bookstores, but you see nothing suitable. One last shop, and then it's time to leave. You promise yourself. The store is marked by an unremarkable sign on an unremarkable building. You enter a dark room full of bookshelves. On one of these shelves, you see a small book bound in black leather. The name of the author, Sir Milanatis, is stamped in gold. You peek inside. How strange. This is not a biography of the rebellious Duke and his rebellion. It is not even a study of his legacy. It is a book of his poems. You thumb through the pages and realize that Gloria would enjoy this book very much. The poetry of Sir Milanatis is about love and struggle and strength of will, and the drive to keep fighting even when all hope is lost. The book costs almost nothing. It leaves the bookstore with you. You leave the capital the morning after. The carriage hired by the secret chancellery awaits you at the door. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The book, A Gift for Gloria, is in your hands. All right. So her stats have gone up to sympathy now. After 4 years in the capital, you return to your home city of Anazet. The end of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazet. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. All right, so now we are done with youth, and we will start going in to our somewhat adult years. Hopefully true death does not last. Well, hopefully I won't die too soon. But we have a long way to go, and I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Hopefully much better.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
You know, it does baffle me that he sounds like he should be like the coach of the Dallas Cowboys or something. I always assumed that like the Blessed Arcadian Empire was like British, but in fact, it's Texas. The carriage makes its way along the road. You see the land of Magra through the window, empty and desiccated by ancient magic. Your home, Anazet, is but a few hours away along this road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun. Even with the thick blinds pulled tight, it is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavily on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. How will they react to you? Will they accept you after you betrayed their hopes and their trust? You're back in your native province. You'll be home soon. But you are no longer the boy who took this very road to the capital 4 years ago. But who are you now? A clandestine outlaw, a rebel, or an agent of the secret chancellery? What future awaits you now? Can you get your freedom back? Can you save everything you hold dear? To drive away the worries about your new life and new destiny, you reread Sophia's letter yet again. I'm glad you didn't do anything stupid and choose to seize your chance for freedom, Brante. I'll go to Anazet a week after you. Both of us coming back at the same time might attract unwanted attention. It is best if nobody even knows we have anything to do with each other. We'll find an excuse for our frequent meetings later. You should go home and reconnect with your family. Don't draw any attention. Keep your head down. Don't leave that old house of yours. When the time comes, I'll find you. Tell everyone you're planning to open a print shop. Find a building to rent for it, someplace far from prying eyes. It'll be our underground headquarters. I'll tell you more about our mission when we meet. That's all. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazet have finally emerged on the horizon. Before you do anything else, you're going home. You know, also another thing too, I wish that the game would give you options on how to approach these people or how to deal with these people from now on. Because, like, for instance, like, I would still be pissed at Sophia. I wouldn't want to have any dealings with her. Like, yes, I know I have to. But, I mean, honestly, I'm just like, fuck her at this point. I would just rather just do my own thing and see if I can make my own little side rebellion and say, screw her. Now, those decisions might come up, but it's initially kind of seeming like I'm just going to be following her useless orders again. But, well, we'll see. I won't look at those because I don't want to turn around and spoil myself on some of the decisions. So let's just jump into it. Homecoming. The carriage stops, the familiar gate, your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You're home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. Inside the house, the first thing you hear is the sound of someone running out of the library. Your sister Gloria appears and immediately throws her arms around you. Her joy is so strong, you barely manage to stay on your feet. Gloria is dressed in men's clothing, including culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. She is almost unrecognizable in her new attire. There are dark circles under her eyes, as though from the lack of sleep or frequent tears. Brother, I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm proud to see you've chosen your own path and decided to live the way you want. You're actually going to open your own print shop? You're going to print books, even poetry? Speaking of poetry, from the inner pocket of your jacket, you produce a small book bound in soft black leather. Gloria gingerly accepts your gift. She notices the author's name, Char Milanatis, on the cover and knits her brow, but after quickly flipping through the pages, she showers you with gratitude. I thought Milanatis was just a warlock. I had no idea he wrote poetry. How fascinating. I'm going to read it all, from cover to cover. Mother comes out of the sitting room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness mentioned in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray, a thin web of wrinkles cover her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She slowly embraces you. Her arms feel nearly weightless. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds you by the shoulders and studies you for a long time. You've been away so long, son. It's such a shame your journey was in vain. You didn't become a judge or even a priest. I guess it's your fate to bear your lot until the very end, but you will endure it. That's how I raised you. Nathan approaches you after Mother. Your younger brother is the same height as you now. His hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. It's good to see you, brother. Home just hasn't been the same without you. Who care about your estate right now? I'm just glad you're here with us again. You pat Nathan on the back. Loud footsteps echo down the stairs. Stefan appears. His shoulders have grown broader, and his features have become harsher, just like grandfather's. He stares you and Nathan down with contempt, his arm crossed on his chest. Welcome back, commoner. I'd hoped you'd become my equal, but apparently you just didn't have it in you. I guess you're no better than Nathan. I can only hope you'll know your place from now on. Why did Father even send you to the capital in the first place? As Stefan says these words, you see Father appear from his study. He looks older now. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. He stops a few steps away and examines you from head to toe. He does not say a word, shaking his head slowly. You explain yourself to Father. This was the only path you could have taken. The college and the judge's calling were not for you. However, your time in the capital was not spent in vain. You've made many influential friends there, and now you plan to open a print shop in Anazet and make a good living. You do your very best to make this sound convincing. No one can ever see through your cover story. When I sent my son to the capital, I expected him to return a nobleman, but the man who stands before me is a commoner, a merchant, an artisan. I had such high hopes for you, but our family's future rests in Stefan's hands now. Oh well, I've had enough time to make my peace with this. You are still a member of this family. We'll see how your shop fares. Perhaps you can still find a way to contribute to the Brante household. He lets out a bitter chuckle. Then after a pause, Father spreads his arm wide to embrace you. Oh, fuck you, dude. You're finally home, my son. Well then, time for dinner. Your mother has prepared a veritable feast in your honor. For the first time in years, your entire family shares a meal at the same time. At the same table, excuse me. Find out how mother's doing. I can ask Gloria about her life, which will piss off Stefan. Or I can chat with Nathan, get +1, or I can talk to Stefan, and that will piss off Gloria. Let me find out how my mom is doing. I need to keep her stats up because I think that did kind of screw me in the end on one of my other playthroughs. In the last playthrough, is that I never really paid much attention to her after I got back, and I probably should have. The stuff with Gloria and Stefan, it's all up and down and all over the damn place, but my mother's stuff doesn't seem to come up that often, so I probably need to spend more time on it. So, let's see how my mom is doing. You cautiously ask Mother about her health over dinner. Oh, it's nothing, Darren. I have no complaints. Just been a little weak lately. It happens at my age. I humbly accept whatever fate the twins have chosen for me. Having said this, she stops abruptly and looks forward. Father cuts in. You know, son, you should tell us about your life in the capital. What gave you the idea to open a print shop? You mentioned in one of your letters that you've seen the imperial family with your own eyes. What are the Tempests like? You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna, carefully omitting anything that might reveal your secret mission. Only later that night, while talking to Nathan on the back porch, do you learn more about Mother's health. I'll be frank with you. Mother isn't doing so well. Gloria and I do our best not to leave her alone. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense, and she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will become of Father then, and of Gloria. Gloria has had it hard too lately. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house so her origins won't taint the Brante reputation anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Oh, you have no idea. Okay, so my mom is at sympathy now. That helps. I need to keep it as high as possible. First steps. After several days of searching and inquiring, you find a suitable location for the print shop. You choose a 2-story building on a dead-end street away from any pedestrian thoroughfares, right next to the city's outer wall, spacious and sturdy. It has more than enough space for the printing press and workbenches. The basement is dry and the windows are too tiny to peek through. It is the perfect location for a clandestine headquarters. You inspect the rooms. This corner will be good for the typesetting area, and the shelves of ink can go over there. Before you finish, Sophia knocks at the door. Once inside, she casts a glance over the rooms and walls and chuckles with approval. This is just what we need, Brante. A perfect location. I couldn't have found anything better myself. Guess the capital taught you well. I'm glad to see I was right about you. This job will be a lot easier with your help. Sophia brushes a layer of dust from an old wooden crate, then lights her pipe as she sits. So, how about I tell you what you and I are up to in this town, eh? Remember what we did in the capital? Well, we're gonna do the same trick here in Anazet. That's our mission. Philippe wants us to found an underground society here. Anybody who wants to rebel and riot, we'll let them join. We'll also keep them in check and use them to do whatever the secret chancellery says. I still don't know everything Philippe's planning yet, but I can tell you he was real angry about how the Inquisition cast all the dirt we dug up on Patriarch Junius to the Four Winds. Here in Anazet, Philippe wants the real deal. You frown. The real deal? What is that supposed to mean? It means you and I have to find all the troublemakers in town and take charge of them. Anybody who's willing to fight for their rights, we turn them into an organized force under our command, and then we'll use them to do whatever Philip wants. Philip wants to take the city in his own hands. He needs disorder, little disturbances and riots, enough unrest so there's always an excuse to arrest folks whenever they need to. But Philippe always has to be in control. This is the secret chancellery's way. As long as the streets are restless, everybody, especially the overseer, will keep thinking good old Sir Philippe El Faro is a real useful friend to have. Savior of the empire and all that. Their last bulwark against the rabble rousers. The more riots and unrest we incite, the stronger our underground force will become, and the stronger the secret chancellery will get. Once the people are shouting in the squares, the prefecture and the magistrate will be powerless, and our buddy Philippe, or Fleep, will pick up the slack. You following so far? You nod. So you're supposed to incite unrest. Is that all you have to do? That's just the beginning. Philippe also wants the lesser quorum broken up at some point in the future. It's full of folks who don't like the way things are done in the Empire. But the Empire is lucky for now. The lesser quorum spends too much time bickering and not enough time trying to work together. That'll work in our favor. So by the time Philippe wants to blackmail the lesser quorum, we need to have our own underground network, and it's got to be big enough for his needs. We'll frame quorum members, gather accusations, plant agents, stuff like that. In other words, we'll do the secret chancellery's dirty work for them. Now let's get down to business. Here in Anazet, there are some big shots who are opposing the Imperial Order. We need to do our best to exploit them for our cause. If we're lucky enough, maybe we can even get them on our side. Sophia starts counting on her finger. Number 1 on my list is Augustin Elborn, prefect of Magra. He's almost a relative to you, isn't he? When Gaius Tempest was first appointed overseer of Magra, he was the only member of the provincial council who openly supported him. Elborn is one of the most powerful nobles in Magra, but he has always protected the common folk. He could be our main ally, or a real dangerous enemy. The second fellow worth mentioning is Mayor Egmont, a leader of the wealthy commoners in the Lesser Quorum. He's an old merchant who got rich mining silver and managed to weasel his way into the provincial politics as a commoner. We need to ensure Egmont's support as soon as possible. He's rich and powerful and will be useful to our cause. Last on my list is Father Leonard. He's the abbot of the temple by the Silver Tree and the local spiritual leader of the New Believers. Right now, lots of Magran commoners are rejecting Isatea's teachings of the lot, and it's all thanks to Leonard and his influence. If those folks have managed to cast off one burden, it should be easy to talk them into rejecting another one. Sophia taps her pipe against the crate, knocking the remaining tobacco onto the floor. One more thing, Bronte. We're going to be manipulating people. I'm talking lies, half-truths, using and exploiting folks, you name it. And we need to get them to follow us. That's a tough thing to do. People can smell phony a mile away, so we have to believe everything we say. I mean, really believe it from the bottom of our hearts. If you aren't ready to die for your cause, why expect it from other folks? But you also have to remember who we're really doing all this for. She trails off. You wait a moment, then ask Sophia why she has agreed to do this. Why is she working for Philippe? Can't she run from him or use her magic to subdue him? Sophia's deep eyes focus all their attention on you. The merciless Magran sun fills the room through the narrow window, reflected in her eyes as a multitude of yellow sparks. You think I never tried it, Bronte? Don't be naive. Magic will not help me to bring Philippe down. When I use my power, you notice it quickly, and Philippe notices it even faster. If I try to enchant him ever again, I'll be collared and sent back to the House of Humility. I'm never going back there again, not ever. As for escaping, there's no hiding from the secret chancellery. Sooner or later, they will find me. The Empire is absolute. The Empire is eternal. The Empire is everywhere. We're all in the same cage. There's no way out of it. And so it will be as long as the Empire still stands. So forget about running away. If you want to get out of this alive, just do what I tell you. Trust me, and I'll take care of you. Now let's talk about your next step. We need to shore up our cover story. Make sure it doesn't fall apart the first time the gendarmes take a closer look at it. Get this print shop to work. You need employees. You're good at picking the right people, just as good as me. So you'll be doing the hiring. Choose people who are loyal, people who do the job and keep their mouths shut. When Philippe gets here, we'll have to show him what we've accomplished so far. And you don't want to disappoint him. So you'd better get cracking. We've got a lot of work to do. With that, Sophia nods to you and leaves. You are left alone to pace the rooms of your future print shop and think, what will you do first? Okay, let's see what we can do here. We can hire rebels. This will increase the unrest. And I can do that because my manipulation is greater than or equal to 12. I needed a 13. I can hire spies, moles, and crooks. My spy network will increase. My scheming will go up too. You look for people who are willing to get their hands dirty without asking too many questions. Or I can commit to the printing business. If I do that, my wealth will go up a bit by 1, and it'll be a 6. I will have the destiny of a profitable business. My wealth will go down by 1. My willpower will go up by 5. Interesting. Do I want to have things unstable? Or do I want to actually try and get my money up? Decisions. I kind of almost do want to see what the profitable business route is, but I said I was gonna go ahead and get her back, so let's go ahead and hire some rebels. If there's one thing that the capital and the lotless have taught you, it is how to find the right sort of people. People who are sick of the empire and its unjust laws. People who can no longer tolerate the tyranny of the nobles. People who want to break free from the cruel shackles of their lot. There are even more commoners willing to fight the good fight in Magra than in the capital. Thanks to the growing popularity of the new faith, the new overseer who has replaced Archduke Milanatus in Prefect Oborn's protection, the lowly estate is freer in Anazet than in any other city in the empire. You hire people who are sincerely displeased with the current state of affairs, people who are willing to risk everything they have for a chance to change the empire. People who look and act just like you did a few years ago. Their loyalty to you will be absolute as long as they believe in you. They will do whatever you say as long as they are convinced it will bring a new and better world. Wonderful. Just don't listen to Sophia. You started your service for the Secret Chancellery by opening a print shop. Let's cover. It's 11:38. A reception at the Brante residence. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in a house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office, in which you promptly give him the bird and go up to your room. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after another. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. we have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards the nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we are on the brink of becoming the old Brontes. If Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive a hereditary title. All nobles of the Bronte family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's reputation, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Bronte affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Darren, you will have to appear before Anazet High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guests and present yourself in a favorable light. Oh, you can go fuck yourself. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware. Delicacies are cooking in the kitchens round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch and change, the Bronte family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversation and the clinking of the glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Young Darren, how splendid to see you. So, what was your time in the capital like? You exchanged pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduced them to the noble guests. Still, one of the guests, a young nobleman of the sword named Jose El Pelletier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Lady Gloria, you are the true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like even in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear her hurried whisper. Darren, please talk to me. This Sir El Pelletier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably still stand out among all these refined nobles. Look, is Durant the painter? I wonder what brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big happy family after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It is time to choose how you will spend the evening. So I can't choose the tournament victory because I never got that. But I do have some other options here. I did this in the previous playthrough with the noble path. I can present your mother and sister, which would take a hit at our reputation, but the unity would get boosted up and my willpower would get boosted up a little bit. Gloria will be happy with me. Stefan, not so much, but fuck him. Let me see. Or I could purchase a family portrait. Our wealth would go down by 1, reputation would go up by 1, unity would go up by 1, my manipulation would go up by 1, and my eloquence would go up by 1 too. Let's do that. The artist is scrutinizing the portrait of your grandfather on the wall of the sitting room. You will always remember grandfather like this, his heavy, searching look, his hawkish features, his imposing body, and the cane he kept in his hands at all times. As if by pure chance, you pass by Durant and mention that the portrait was painted by a local artist. But surely Sir Durant's skill must be incomparably greater. Would he be interested in painting a group portrait of the entire Bronte family? At first, Durant politely declines. He must head back to the capital soon, and he has no time to spare for painting. But you remonstrate that you will pay any price, and his work will be seen by the highest society of Anisette. Durant eventually succumbs to your persuasion. You spend the night negotiating with the painter. A proper portrait will take a fair amount of time to paint, and Durant's prices are high. Convincing your family turns out to be just as challenging. Gloria will not pose in a dress or put her hair in a bun. Nathan almost has to be forced to cut his hair. Stefan insists that he must be drawn to the right of his father, with Gloria behind them. Eventually, you succeed in helping your family reach a consensus. The portrait is perfect. Your parents look dignified, hand in hand. Stefan stands proudly to the right. You, in your best attire, are to the left of them. Gloria brings some life to the painting with her unruly hair and daring outfit. Even Nathan seems to belong there. The portrait is proudly displayed above the fireplace in the sitting room. No one else in Magra has a portrait by Durant himself. This will emphasize our position. For once, Gloria agrees with her brother. At least on this canvas, we're all one family, whatever our estate may be. Alright, so the wealth went down a little bit. It's now at moderate. Reputation went up by 1, so now we're in a modest position. And disagreements is what the family have right now. But still not bad. One more and they'll be at peace, but I'm pretty sure this is going to sway quite a bit. Alright, my manipulation has went up to 14, so I'm clever. My eloquence has went up to 11, so I have clear speech. A rock in a hard place. The Brante home has been uneasy for several months now. With father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties, the animosity between Stefan and Gloria has grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with her estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you in his office. His somber look portends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at his father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to the side. Children, for a long time now, our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble member of the Brante family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. Then why am I here, Sir Robert? She's right. This is a Brante matter. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I'm still the head of this household. If you are truly so concerned about honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble, but now we must be united as never before. We must work together to protect the reputation and wealth of this family. But you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in her place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Our every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort he remains composed. That is so. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistake. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert, but Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. That's not it at all. You are lowborn, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever takes your fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the order of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. When will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I am the heir of this family, and my word is your law. Purple with rage, Father slams his fist on the table. It is rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and sister instantly fall silent. Frightened, Nathan shrinks into a corner. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Darren speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. He should know best which of you is in the right. Okay. So now, this time around, I actually have some different options, or a different option. Before, I think I sided with Stefan, and that killed the unity a little bit, but I think either one would have kind of... Oh, okay, so this just hurts the reputation. This hurts unity. Neither one mattered in the end, but still. But this time around, I can send Gloria to Valona. You persuade Gloria to go on a trip somewhere far away from Stefan. This will help them bury the hatchet. So, in order to do this, you need a wealth greater than or equal to 1. It's at a 4 right now. And one of these must be true. Your manipulation must be greater than or equal to 12. Or Gloria must be greater than or equal to 2. It's at a 3 right now. So this will take 1 wealth away from us. My manipulation will go up by 1, and my eloquence will go up by 1. Let us send Gloria to Valona. You take a conciliatory tone. You note that the tempers are running too high. Your siblings would benefit from spending some time apart. They need to cool off, then try to settle their differences. From what you hear, the town of Valona in the southern part of the province has an excellent resort with healing springs. What if Gloria took a vacation there for a month to improve her health and have some rest by the sea? Gloria shakes her head hesitantly. Are you trying to get rid of me, Darren? So I won't be in your way? What am I supposed to do at some twins' forsaken spa? You patiently explain to Gloria that she'll be able to enjoy some reading, find inspiration in contemplating the waves, and ponder on her future. And then, when she comes back, she and Stefan will calmly discuss their issues. Finally, Gloria gives in. A trip to Valona will be costly. I'd like to know who will pay for it. Speaking first and foremost to your father, you argue that peace in the family is worth any expense. The two of you should indeed spend some time away from each other. Let it be as you suggested, Darren. Gloria, start packing. Stefan, please send a note to Valona and hire a carriage for your sister. Gloria reluctantly heads off to the coast. This trip forces the family to spend a hefty sum, but without the constant bickering of your brother and sister, the tension at home quickly dissolves. With no need to keep an eye on Gloria, Stefan devotes himself to Anizette's social life. Gloria returns surprisingly serene. After a month in Valona, her temper has mellowed for a time. She is engrossed in her own affairs and does not draw her brother's ire. Alright, so my family's in poverty now. But I mean, I think we can recover that. I've had a couple incidents here where I could probably get that number up. I don't know how much money I would need for some of the other achievements, but that's not my concern right now. I have other concerns, which is mainly focusing on this rebellion. But yes, I think we'll go ahead and stop it here. So yeah, this will be a good stopping point. And in the next episode, I'm guessing we'll start getting into some of the spy versus spy and trying to get this rebellion going. And it's going to be interesting since I've never actually been down this path. So yeah, that's where we'll be. Also, just a quick note for this video. This is one of the videos I'm recording kind of back to back. So if there were comments left in the previous video or suggestions made in the previous video and they are not reflected in this video, that's the reason why. I'm recording these videos back to back. So as a matter of fact, I just got done rendering the previous video and I'm finna post it right now. But yeah, that tends to happen. I'm trying to record 2 videos at a time so that way I can have a bit of a backlog while I'm at work, and then on the weekend I can kind of go ahead and focus on some other things, because I do have another video, another game that I'll be playing, and I don't know if I'm going to post it on the channel yet because I want to at least play it first and see how it is before I post it. But it should be interesting. So I was definitely surprised that I got a key for it. So, but yeah, Anywho, if you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel, and I will have a lot of things in the future on this channel coming up, such as said games that I will be recording this weekend, hopefully. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them, whether it be such pronunciations of words or anything else in between. If you want to talk about the sky or the weather, I will do my best to comment back and look at those and see what's going on. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I am very grateful for everyone who has been along on this journey to 1,000 views, and I'll probably do something here pretty soon. Again, this happened in the middle of my work week, and I'm starting a new job now, so it's kind of hectic right now trying to manage everything and stuff like that. So this weekend I will probably do another little update video and talk about some things going forward, with things I would like to do in the future, and yeah, go from there. So anywho, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for helping me get to 1,000. And who knows, hopefully, you know, we'll just grow and continue to grow. We can do bigger and better things and go from there. So, see you in the next one. Thank you.